Hello everybody, this is Sparks. Welcome to Templecraft. So, this is going to be a short sort of video thingy that I'm doing. Basically, Adam Clark has got in contact with a group of people who are building this giant, beautiful wooden temple in Londonderry in Northern Ireland. And the idea is that in real life this temple has been built and people can go along and they can write letters to loved ones, either who have passed away or who aren't there anymore, or who they just appreciate, or like photographs of friends, things like that. And people can walk inside this giant temple, look around it. It's all been like handcrafted over quite a long time, and people can then later this weekend they can watch it being burned down. It's sort of a ceremonial burial. So this is the in-game version. Adam Clark has been in charge of organising all of this. Blockworks has done this amazing structure. It's huge, but very cool. And there are two versions of this temple. The first version is missing these things here that I'm stood on, and it's basically going to be open to, I think, the public. At least there's several schools that are going to have the kids going in, and there's item frames all on these pillars, and people can take items. And I think I need to I hear zombies. They can like rename things with anvils and stick them in. And then the second version is the version I have here. Now this is filled with these sort of stacks of logs and hay. The pillars have been stuffed with hay, and my job is to get this to burn down as solemnly as possible in about half an hour. So the burn needs to take half an hour. So this video is basically going to be sort of, because I know a lot of people who view my channel like the redstone-y side of things, I'm more or less going to show you the usual sort of map making style video where I go through the steps of how I get it to burn down, my thought processes, things like that. People seem to find that quite interesting usually, so hopefully you'll find this interesting. So the very first thing that's clear to me here, and by the way, this thing is too big to, like, I was going to clone it to the side, but it's just so big. So I think I'm going to have to make an MC Edit schematic of it every time I try and burn it down. So the first thing that's clear to me is that we cannot use Minecraft's natural fire spread, because to do that would mean the fire's kind of very unpredictable. It's probably going to leave blocks lying all over the place. Stairs do not burn. Wooden stairs? No, wooden stairs do burn. Never mind. But I think it would leave a lot of blocks behind. It wouldn't be very pretty, and it would burn way faster. It would burn out way faster than in half an hour. So we're going to turn fire spread off, and we're going to have to use redstone to manually cause fire to spread around all of this. So just as an example, or to say how this is being lit, a couple of people, possibly myself included, will walk into one of the sides of this temple. It's completely symmetrical, and we will throw a torch at one of these piers, and that will start off the whole chain reaction. So at some point we're going to have to do some... We're going to probably have to start off with the detection of an item being thrown against a specific pillar, and then we're going to have to think about the spreading mechanism for this. Now I've had kind of a cool idea of using armor stands, which I think will work quite well. So I'm going to hide an armor stand inside every one of these pillars. Let me show you something really cool though, which is going to make this a little bit easier for us, which I got from the Pool of London Tape Worlds project I did with Dragnos. He came up with this for the burning chimney idea. So I'll be right back. I'm just going to set up a command to show you how this works. Alright, so in just a second, you can see the command there at the bottom of the screen. This entire pier here should burst a light, should catch fire when I push this button. There we go. So I've turned fire spread off, so that fire is not going to go out. But you can see that this fire has molded itself around this structure perfectly. And the way we do this is the command I showed you just a moment ago. So basically, there's an armor stand hidden in the very center at the bottom of that pier called pier. I think that's how you spell pier and how you pronounce pier, but if not, that's how we're going to call it today. And what we're going to do is we're basically filling in a 17 by 17 area, so 8 in every direction, including the center block, plus 24 blocks up. We're filling the fire block, and we're replacing air. Now the cool thing with this is that fire is set like right here where I'm stood, but fire only appears and only remains there if it's got a block to cling to. So this way, with a single command, we can set this entire pier on fire. That actually looks pretty cool, I have to say. So people watching this are going to be at a distance. They're probably going to be this close at the most. So that's worth bearing in mind. Now, we probably don't want to set this entire pier alight at once. Something we could do is set it alight in stages, possibly starting from the bottom. And what I'm going to try and do here is, I think the piers are probably going to catch fire from the starting pier. So if this is the starting pier here, I should probably mark this pier so we know it's the starting pier. I'm going to try and hide a pier armor stand in each of these, and we're going to get it to spread between the piers, ignoring the surrounding blocks and everything else for now. This is going to be a huge project, but hopefully we can get this to work really nicely using armor stands, at least for this bottom bit. So like there's several stages to this. I've been watching a lot of videos on how buildings burn down. Hopefully the police don't come knocking on my door asking whether I'm planning to perform an arson, but and I'll say yes I am, I'm burning down a temple in Londonderry, and they will arrest me and I'll never get this project finished. So yes, the plan here is going to be to hide an armor stand in this and use a little bit of redstone magic to slowly get the fire to spread. But there's several stages to this. First of all, we need to make fire particles appear. We also need, when buildings burn, the superstructure burns last. So we're probably going to end up destroying the lighter woods first. So you can see, like here, there's this square of darker wood. Now the temple itself, the real world temple, it's all one color of wood, but Blockworks discovered that you can't get as much depth from it, so we've kept it like this, so it looks more detailed. But the great thing about this is I've effectively got my own like superstructure layout here. So these dark wooden beams are going to burn the last, so we're going to basically burn out all the light little bitty decorative bits first, and we'll be left with this skeleton of a temple. And the other thing with this is the collapse. So when the superstructure is weakened enough, the temple, or the parts like beams and things like that, will collapse. I haven't actually, at the point of recording this, worked out how I'm going to do that if I can. The thing with this server is I haven't been able to get a spec for it. It's a public server. People will be able to come on and watch the burn. I don't know what spec they have. And all of the stuff I'm doing is really laggy. I'm setting blocks, I'm setting fire, there's light updates, block updates, chunk updates, all sorts of things. There'll be redstone running, so it's kind of tricky to see what I can do. So I'm gonna have to do it in stages and get it so I can turn stages off. Like, I'd really like to use lots of smoke particles to make it billow smoke and stuff, but smoke particles are client side and could cause the viewers a lot more lag. There's also this big problem in Minecraft where if I'm over here, right, that tower is so far away. Minecraft doesn't like telling people all the way over here that that there's been a change up there. So to save to the way that Minecraft processes chunks to keep things cheaper, it basically doesn't do updates, like visual updates on chunks further away so often. By the way, this map is amazing. Like, this is supposed to be sort of the edge of Londonderry Town over here, which has been built by Blockworks, and it just looks amazing. So I'm really privileged to be working on this project with them. So I'm just gonna, you can easily turn these piers off again as well by, for a moment then I thought the command was gone, by changing this so that this says air and this says fire. Didn't work. I'm not sure why. Alright, so what I didn't realise is that this pier is hollow. So basically the reason that wasn't working is that I set fire to the armor stand and burned it. So what I actually need to do is put the armor stand back, but make sure that it's invulnerable. So I'll do that quickly. There we go. So this is on a client, right? Did you see how long it took that to react? This is what we're going to be dealing with. We're going to be fighting Minecraft's dislike of doing stuff this whole project, I think. It's just such a big thing to burn down. So, you know, with a couple of clicks, we can set alight and extinguish these piers. So this is the sort of thing I'm planning to do. but I think I'll do it in stages per pier. I think I can do that pretty like automatically using scoreboards and an armor stand in every one of these piers. So I'm going to set up armor stands in these piers, and then I'll be right back. I'm also going to make a little redstone room because we need to do that. Alright, all of these piers now have coffee time. Coffee, it gets me through the day, guys. Interestingly, caffeine does not affect me. I do not get more awake or hyper from coffee. It just calms me down, which is actually very unfortunate if I need to stay awake more. But it is delicious, and that gets me through the day. The thought of that delicious coffee. Anyway, so there's now armor stands in every single one of these. So if I click to this, all of these are going to catch fire at once. You can see the sort of lag we're expecting here. Like, this is why we need to be careful how we do things. There we go, see. So, first of all, we're going to be setting the piers alight slowly, which is going to help. And possibly in stages. I should probably do game rule, command block output false, and game rule log admin commands false, which will both help with server strain. And let's turn the piers off again. There's so many light updates when you do this. It's going to take a little while to catch up. So I said I'd be back when I had a clock, and I didn't do that, so I will go do that now. Okay, I'm getting a little somewhere here, guys. So this is a approximately 30-second clock. This burn needs to happen over half an hour. I feel like the slowest we want anything to really happen is every 30 seconds or so. So this is actually slightly faster than 30 seconds. I find, though, that the more stuff that's going on a server, the worse the tick rate gets. Now, there's usually 20 ticks per second, but depending on how much is going on, if it can't process everything in a tick, it'll extend that tick. So if we've got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of set block and stuff, that tick rate will fall, and this clock will run slower. So on the basis, on the expectation that there will be more lag in future, and I may recalibrate that clock later on the server, I've made it slightly faster than 30 seconds. It's more like 27, 28 seconds. Something I'm doing, which you should always do with projects like this, is I am creating all my scoreboards inside command blocks. So if the world gets moved, or if this redstone gets moved, you can push a button and it's all added. What you should do is also create a command block for every entity you use. So each of those armor stands should have a command block over here, resummoning the armor stands. However, the server this is going on is a multi-world Spigot server, and I've tried it out, and currently the summon command does not work on their server. Now this is kind of worrying news, because it means any armor stands we want to use, or any entities we want to use, have to be around from the start of the burn. It's one of my biggest worries about making collapsing beams, because I'll have to use entities for that, or a clone move command, which will look really jerky and horrible. So not quite sure what I'm doing about that. I will continue talking to them to see whether they can get the summon command working. I think it's summoning the object in the wrong world, because they have several worlds running in the same world, if that makes sense. Something else I'm doing is I'm about to set up the bit which actually triggers the whole fire reaction. Now, the way I'm going to do the burn is there's a scoreboard called time, and there's a scoreboard called burning, and every 30 seconds I add 1 to the time score of any entity with a burning score of 1. So that way we can individually track the animation process of each armor stand separately. So I don't know if you knew this, guys, and I'm just wondering how this will look, right? Because we want to throw a burning torch down, right? What you can actually do in Minecraft is you can set fire to items, there we go. So if I do entity data at r equals 2, which is that torch, fire 10s, it should catch fire. Just for a moment. That actually, unfortunately, I didn't actually test this. I thought it might look better, but yeah, it won't be destroyed or anything. It just sits there. Oh no, it did just get destroyed. Okay. Today I learnt. So I'm guessing the fire is actually damaging it then. We could do that to the torch. Like, use a slow clock here so that once somebody throws a torch, it will catch fire if it's on a hay block or if it's on a wood log or something. I'm not quite sure where somebody can throw a torch over here. Let's get a couple of torches. So possibly like at the base here. So I'm thinking perhaps what I'll do is I will get the torch. If we use this pier as the pier, I'll use this torch to say if it's near this this armor stand inside there, we'll set fire to the torch so that it's burning on the ground. And then we'll get the torch to do the same thing we're doing with this pier, but in a small area, so just a couple of blocks around it catch fire. This bit is only going to be visible to the couple of people who are actually over here throwing the torch down. So, but they may be recording and showing it on YouTube, I don't know, so it should probably look fairly good. So we'll do that, and then this torch will set the burning score of the armor stand inside this pier to 1, and then its burn time will start to go up. So I'll just set that up now quickly. So here's a really good tip, guys, for getting information about an item really easily. So I've renamed this torch Ceremonial Torch, so we'll make it so that only a ceremonial torch can set fire to that pier. This is a really good way. I use this all the time, right? Entity data at R equals 2, so that the command block is in the radius of the item you're trying to get the information from, and then you just put 2 blank curly brackets and put power block. Now if you stand a little way, more than 2 blocks away, all of the information about that torch is now in this command block down here. So you've got the pickup delay, whether it's on fire, its age, everything. So now I can say that I can get all the relevant information for detecting that torch, that specific torch, from this. So I'm going over here, and eventually we'll see the item tag. Here we go. So this is all the information we want. So we can check that it's a Minecraft torch, that there is 1. We can get rid of the repair costs in a moment. We can check that the display name is Ceremonial Torch, and I believe that is all we need. And then we can paste that in here. So I'm going to set the burning score of all items to 1, and then in the data tag here, I'm going to put another curly bracket there. Tell it to only do that if all of these things are true. I'm going to get rid of this because we don't need the repair cost. And the damage can go as well. The hardest thing with this is making sure curly brackets are right. So I'll just check that. Yeah, I was missing a curly bracket. So if I do scoreboard, objective, set display, sidebar, burning, there are apparently already, right, objectives. Alright, so if I throw an ordinary torch on the ground, nothing happens. If I throw my ceremonial torch on the ground, it gets a burning score of 1. Normal torch, nothing. Ceremonial torch, score of 1. That seems to work to me. So then the next thing will simply be to set it alight, and then after a brief delay, set fire to some of the blocks around it. Alright, so let's try this. I'm going to make a couple of duplicates of that. Alright, so I'm going to throw this ceremonial torch on the ground. It should catch fire. Oh my goodness. And then die. Perfect. So, size is not an issue. It's timing and stuff. So I'm using repeaters in this case. With a lot of very heavy redstone, I tend to use less repeaters in comparators, but because of the way this is being used, I think we're fine to use a comparator test output. So catch fire, it's fine. If I throw this one down, nothing will happen to it. So the command I'm using for this is basically entity data, all with a score of burning of at least 1, and is an item type to set it on fire. So as long as torches are the only item we give a fire score, we're fine. Alright, so what we now have here is basically once we've dropped the torch on the ground and it's caught fire, after 4 ticks, we replace a 3x3 area around its air with fire, and at the same time we set the nearest armor stand within a radius of 10 blocks to have a burning score of 1. So we can actually light any of these piers and start the fire from anywhere we like, which I was not expecting to be able to do, but with this method it'll actually work. And then after another 8 ticks, we just set more fire around the torch. Excuse me. So currently this pier will not catch fire, but if I throw one of these ceremonial torches, if I throw it down over here, we should see nothing happen. It'll catch fire and burn out. Oh dear! Okay, apart from all the grass. 1 second. There we go, got rid of that. So it will still set fire wherever you drop it, but if we throw it against this pier here, we should see it's probably going to set fire to the ground a little bit as well, but we can deal with that. Let's just throw it up there. And, oh, yeah. It did some stuff. I was expecting slightly more fire maybe, but that's cool. And it's now set the burning score of the armor stand inside that pier to 1, which means its age is going to start going up now. Every 30 seconds, its age will increase by 1. So the next bit is just setting fire to the pier. Let's get rid of that fire. It looks like some of that is out of the get rid of fire radius for the pier. Awesome. Is there fire inside there? No, I think we're good. Alright, next stage. So, every time this clock pulses, this is a fill which just replaces this, sets all of this to redstone, and then this sets all of this to wool. Then we add 1 to the time of any score burning entity. Then we do several executes. So if their time score is 1, I've just remembered I forgot to change these numbers for the others. Then we fill an 8x8x8 space around them with fire replacing air. If their score is 2, we do the same thing, but we do it 8 blocks higher. So that's from 0 and 8 up to 8 to 16 up. And then the final one, when they have a time of 3, is 16 to 24, which is the last third of that pier. So it's basically burns in 3 stages. So let's give that a quick look and see if that works. So I've got my ceremonial torch here. I can choose any of these piers to start the burning. So let's just throw it down. It's going to catch fire, it's going to set fire, and then at some point this entire lower section of this single pier should catch fire. There we go. Scoreboard. Scoreboard objective set display sidebar time. So there we go. The time is 1 on that pier. Now when that time reaches 2, we should see the middle section of this pier catch fire. And I'm also going to get it so that at this point it's going to spread to any nearby piers and set their time score to 1 as well. So it should effectively be spreading out. So there we go. The second section of the pier is done, and then the final section up here will catch shortly afterwards. So we may want... I'm going to have to work out how many seconds it'll take to reach all of the piers. Probably not... Definitely not 30 minutes, so we should be good. And here's the last section now, coming up. In fact, I just got a message while I'm watching this from Adam Clark on Skype. He says that this server, like not the one I'm working on here with the burn, there we go, is already open. So I believe the IP is play.templecraftmc.com. Should be on the screen, should be in the video description. You can go on and you can put a virtual message to a loved one inside the Templecraft temple, if you wish, and then it's going to be burned down on the weekend, I believe Saturday. I'll have to check that, and I will probably be there for the burn, the virtual burn, and then on Sunday, sorry, for the following 2 weeks, the whole thing will be open as a gallery. So there's one little bit of fire that escapes that. I think it's set by the torch when you throw it. So that's pretty cool, right? So next we just got to get it to spread among the piers. I think this will be okay. All right, spreading should be initiated, guys. Let's take a look at this. So I'm going to drop down a ceremonial torch on this pier, and shiz should happen. So the idea is when the when the time score of the armor stand inside that pier reaches 2, it will set the burning score of any armor stand core pier within 27 blocks of itself to 1. So either when this next row of fire sets off, the nearby piers will also catch alight, or when it fully burns. I'm not sure what the timing is right now. We've still got a 30-second timer though, so I might make that a little bit faster for testing actually, because it's going to take bleeding ages ever otherwise. I kind of want to see what happens with the spread in a second though. We'll speed it up once we've checked this spreads properly. Scoreboard objectives display, sidebar burning. We've got several piers with a burning score of 1, so that's looking promising. So in the next 30 seconds, probably these 3 will all catch fire. I think this one's close enough. It's on a diagonal, so it may not. But if it doesn't, we need to change our radius because it should. Let's take a look and see what happens. Oh yeah, there we go. It's spreading. That's kind of cool. It's not as smooth as in-game fire spread, I understand, but it's just there's so much light updates and stuff. If I did it any more sort of with any more stages, this would just get worse, or you know, we get even more lag. So there we go. That's the next section. So you can see this one's fully burned. The surrounding ones. In a second, I'm going to take some items out of that hopper clock so that we can speed this up somewhat. Going to halve that speed. It's usually 32-ish, slightly over 32 items in there. So in a moment, some more of these piers are going to catch fire. Yep, we've got the surrounding ones over here are now burning. So this should slowly spread from the starting pier around. And they're all within range of each other, I think. I might actually make that clock a little bit faster again for this. That's all the ones I've taken out. So we should see it spreading pretty quickly now. Just want to make sure that it is doing things. That's good. Yeah, so this spread looks kind of nice. And we should be able to start that from any pier. But that does add a level of randomness into this that I'm worried about in case it doesn't spread properly from a certain one. So I'm going to recommend that on the day we start the fire from the correct, from the pier I've been using for testing. So I don't know how this feels to you guys. The next bit will be actually like destroying the blocks inside these piers and also getting the fire to spread across to these pillars and probably to the outside walls as well. But we are getting sort of a fairly sensible looking spread. Like these inner pillars here, this should really have set fire to this pillar by now, so that'll be the next section. But I'm going to quickly edit, see how long this video is. You may see like a video a day from this, maybe even almost, probably not 2 videos a day, but I'm going to release this one quickly now just to give you an idea of what I'm doing, get some feedback. You guys often have really cool ideas about these things, so I'll set this out and I'm going to keep working on this, and I'll try and record my progress as I go because I think you will enjoy it. Tell me if you are interested, so I can sort of gauge that I should be putting out more videos on this. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next episode. Bye bye.